C programming interview questions are a major part of every interview procedure. This video has covered all the basic interview questions and that every candidate is asked to check his or her knowledge in their programming skills. They have become essential to crack by every interview in the current IT industry. So please stick till the end of this video while we give away answers to that one important C programming questions that is the most frequently asked in every interview. Hey guys, welcome to Simplilearn. Today we will learn the top 40 C programming interview questions and answers. Before we start, let us test your existing knowledge of C. To use operations like malloc and calloc, which header files should be included? The options are stdio.h, stdlib.h, conio.h or string.h. Do leave your answers in the comment section below. And while we are at it, please leave us a like if you find our content helpful and a sub to the channel would be appreciated. Before we begin with this video is categorized into beginner level, intermediate level and advanced level questions. So without further delay, let's get started. The first question is, what are the features of the C programming language? C is a simple and portable. It is a mid-level language. It has the features of modularity. C is rich in library. It is a procedural language, easy to extend, and it consists of built-in operations. It also provides memory management. The next question is, mention different data types in C. Data types are classified into basic, derived and user-defined data types. Basic data types are int, char, float and double. Derived data types include array and pointers, and user-defined data types are enum, structure and unions. What is the use of static functions? Functions declared with the keyword static are the static functions. They have the scope restricted only to the functions in which they are declared. The next question is, mention the dynamic memory allocation functions. Dynamic memory allocation functions are malloc, calloc, realloc and free. When we use the malloc function, the contiguous block of memory will be allocated and the pointer variable will hold the address of the first element. Calloc function is similar to malloc function, but in the case of calloc function, multiple blocks of memory of the same size will be allocated, which holds 0 value by default. And it takes two arguments, that is number element and element size. We use realloc function to change the array size without losing the data. In short, the realloc functions will change the size of the previously allocated memory block. The free function is used to deallocate the memory space occupied by the previously allocated by malloc, calloc, realloc functions. In order to use the memory more efficiently and to return back the memory to the heap once done, we use free function. What is the difference between local variable and global variable? Variables declared inside the functions with the keyword local are called local variables. The local variable scope is inside the functions in which it is declared. Variables declared outside the functions with the keyword global are called global variables, and they can be accessed by multiple functions defined in the program. Moving ahead to the next question. What is the use of pointer variables in C programming, and what do you mean by dangling pointer variable? A pointer is a variable that holds the address of another variable to be executed, which can be of data type int, char, array, etc. Pointers are used to access the memory location easily, and it reduces the storage space and increases the speed of the program's execution. When a pointer pointing to another variable is deleted and a pointer is still pointing at the same memory location, then the pointer is known as a dangling pointer. The next question is, what is nested structure? Nested structures are the structures where data members of one structure is referred by the data members of another function. Next, what is the use of break control statements? Break is used to terminate the loop. So whenever the control encounters the break statement, it will stop the loop iteration and transfer the control to the next statement soon after the loop. Generally, break statements are used in the loop and switch control statements. And the next question is, what are C tokens? Tokens are the smallest individual elements in the program, which include keywords, identifiers, constants, special symbols, strings, and operations. What is predefined functions in C? Predefined functions are the built-in functions. It helps user to use already existing code in the program. What is the use of printf and scanf function? Printf and scanf are inbuilt library functions defined in the standard input-output header file. Scanf is used to read the input from the user, and printf is used to print the output on console. The next question is, what is the use of header files in C? Header file contain the predefined library functions. Programs can make use of standard library functions by defining #include in the program. It reduces the number of code and complexity of the program. What is an array? Mention its different types. An array is a homogeneous collection of elements of the same data type. That means similar types of elements are stored under one name called an array name, and also the array of elements stored in consecutive block of memory. Types of array includes one-dimensional array, two-dimensional array, and multi-dimensional array. Next, what is the use of const keyword? Using a const keyword, the value of a variable is constant throughout the program runtime. Constant values are unchangeable. Syntax include const variable name equal to value and semicolon at the end. What is a memory leak? When the memory is allocated dynamically and not deallocated even when the memory is no longer required, that leads to a memory leak. Now that your basic level questions are completed, let us go through a few intermediate level questions. Differentiate between call by value and call by reference. In call by value, we pass values by copying variables. In call by reference, we pass the address of the variable. In call by value, the memory location for formal and actual arguments are created separately. In the case of call by reference, the formal and actual arguments share the same memory location. Any changes made in copy of variables will not affect the value of a variable outside the function in call by value. Whereas in call by reference, any changes made in the variables will also affect the value of the variable outside the function. Moving on to the next question. What is the difference between a compiler and an interpreter? A compiler compiles the whole code at a time and displays all the errors, whereas the interpreter executes the program line by line and displays the error of every single line. What are the entry and exit loops in C? A loop in which the condition is checked first and then executes the statements is known as an entry loop. For example, a while loop is an entry loop. A loop in which the set of statements is executed first and then checks the given condition is known as an exit loop. For the example, do while loop is an exit loop. And the next question is, what is typecasting? Typecasting is the process of converting one data type to another data type. The conversion that is done automatically is known as implicit conversion. Next, mention 4 types of storage classes in C. 4 types of storage classes in C are automatic, register, static, and external. Next, what is the use of the size of operator in C? The size of operator is applied to the data types such as int, char, float, etc. to determine the exact size of a variable in bytes. What are the string handling functions in C? String handling functions are strlen, strcat, strcpy, and strcmp. strlen is used to find the string length. It will count the number of characters in a string and prints the output. Then, strcat is used to concat 2 strings, which means adding up 2 strings. strcpy is to copy a string to another. strcmp is to compare 2 strings. And the next question is, write a C program to print the following pattern. So, now let's understand the working of the code. So, in this pattern program, we have 2 for loops. So, where the outer for loop indicates the number of rows and the inner for loop will indicate the number of columns. So here, it first checks the outer for loop condition, and if the condition is satisfied, the control will go to the inner for loop and print the value. That is, it prints the j value. And once the condition is false, the control will transfer back to the outer for loop and increment I by 1. And this process will repeat until all the number patterns are printed successfully. So now let's execute it. So as you can see the number here, this is the pattern where we are executing with the help of 2 for loops, that is, for I is equal to 1, I lesser or equal to n, so n value is 5 and then I plus plus, then coming to the inner for loop, j is equal to 1, j lesser or equal to I and j plus plus. So now moving on to the next pattern question, we have implement a program to print pyramid star pattern. So in this pyramid star pattern program, we have declared variables I, j and rows is equal to 5. So the number of rows that we are going to print is 5. So for I is equal to 0 to I less than 5, it's going to print the rows. And this for loop will print the blank spaces. So from j is equal to rows minus I, j greater to I, j minus minus. So this for loop is used to print the spaces in between the pyramid star pattern. And coming to this for loop here, j is equal to 0, j lesser or equal to I, j plus plus, it will print this star. So let's run it. Okay, let's run it. So as you can see, the star pattern is formed. And the next question is, write a C code to swap two numbers without using third variable. So here we have the variables first and second. So first is initialized to value 1 and second is initialized to value 2. So print before swapping the values of first and second, and it will print the values of first and second initially. So initially the values of first and second is 1 and 2. Then coming to this statements, so here first is equal to first plus second. So suppose let's consider first is equal to, so the first value is 1. So 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. Okay. So now the first value is holding, the first variable is holding the value 3. Then coming to the second, here second is equal to, now the value of first is 3. So 3 and minus the value of second is still 2. So let's give 2. So which is 3 minus 2 is 1. So now the variable second is holding new value, that is 1. Then first is equal to first minus second. So now what's the value of first? The new value is 3. So 3 minus, and what's the value of second? That is 1. So 3 minus 1 is 2. So now as you can see, initially the first was equal to 1, that is before swapping the value of where first is equal to 1 and second is equal to 2. Now after swapping, the value of first is equal to 2 and second is equal to 1. So that's what's happening here. So let's remove this. Hope it's clear. So now let's run it. So as you can see the screen, before swapping the value of first is equal to 1, second is equal to 2. So after swapping the value have exchanged. So first is equal to 2 and then second is equal to 1. Moving on to the advanced level questions. First, what is a union? Union is a special data type that holds the element of different data types at the same memory location. The concept of structure and unions are the same. However, the only difference is in terms of storage space and the keyword. In union, memory is allocated once the variable is created, and the union variables are created to access and assign values of the union members in C. The next question is, what are enumeration? Enum is a user-defined data type consisting of an integral constant. In short, an enum is a keyword that allows a user-defined data types consisting set of integral constants. The syntax of enumeration is enum, enum name and list of constants, separated with the help of comma operator. And the next question is, what is a recursion? Recursion is a process of making a function call itself. In short, the user call function inside the same function. The next question is, what are macros in C? Macro in C is defined by the hash-defined directive. A macro is a name given to a piece of code, so whenever the compiler encounters a macro in a C program, it will replace it with a macro value. In the macro definition, the macro are not terminated by the semicolon. Syntax of a macro, hash-defined, macro name, followed by macro value. Example, hash-defined pi 3.14 and semicolon at the end. What are file operations in C? Creating a file, writing a file, reading a file, seek operation within a file, and truncating a file. And at last, deleting a file. What are the difference between macros and functions? Macros are preprocessed, but functions are compiled. Using macros, execution speed is faster, and in the case of functions, the speed of execution is slower. The macro name is replaced by the macro value before compilation. Whereas in function, transfer of control takes place during the function call. Using macros, the length of the code increases. The code length is unaffected using the function.
The next question is sort an array using a quicksort algorithm. So as you can see the screen, we have a quicksort algorithm function declared where we have array of size 25 left and right variables. So coming to the main function, we have I, count and array. So using printf function, it will print enter the number of elements. So it will take the number of elements. That means suppose you want to sort 5 elements. So it will take that number and then it will take elements one by one using this for loop. Then it will call the quicksort algorithm. So then this quicksort algorithm, the control will transfer to this function and we have array of size 25 left and right. So here we have the variables declared, that is I, j, pivot and temp variables. So if left hand side element is less than right hand side element, then left hand side element is assigned to pivot and then left is assigned to I and right element is assigned to j. So while I lesser than j, so while it checks the condition array of I lesser or equal to array of pivot and I is less than right, then increment I by 1. While array of j greater than array of pivot, then it will decrement j by 1. So if I is less than j, here we are using temp variable to swap. That means to shift the elements. So whatever is there in array of I is given to temp variable, whatever is then there in array of j is given to array of I, and whatever is there in the temp variable is assigned to array of j. Then now temp is not holding any value, so array of pivot is given to temp variable and array of j is assigned to array of pivot and temp is assigned to array of j. Then 2 times you are calling the quicksort algorithm. First time to sort the elements at the left hand side and then to sort the elements at the right hand side. And coming to this main function, then it will print all the sorted elements. So let's run it. So as you can see, enter the number of elements. So let's enter 5 and let's enter some random numbers. Okay. So the numbers that we entered was 1, 4, 32, 5 and 5. So sorted elements are 1, 4, 5, 5 and 32. So it has sorted all the elements successfully using quicksort algorithm. And the next question is implement a program to print the factorial of a given number using recursive method. So as you can see here, we have a main function in which we have declared the variable n and then enter a positive integer. So it will take the n value. Then it will print factorial of a given number and then call the fact function. So the control will transfer to this function where we have fact of int n. So if n is greater or equal to 1, only then it will perform a factorial method. So suppose here we are giving a positive integer, that n to be 3. Okay, suppose we are given 3. So n, that is 3, into fact of n minus 1, that is 2. 3 minus 1 is 2. So again we are calling fact here, fact function. So what this basically do is 3 into 2. It will perform 3 into 2. So 3 2s are 6. So it will print 6. Factorial of 3 is 6. So let's check it. So enter a positive integer. Let's enter 3 and the value is 6. So similarly, if suppose the number is 5, 5 into fact of 5 minus 1, that is 4. So what it does is it will take 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So it will count all this and print the value. So let's check what's the factorial of 5. So let's enter 5 and see the factorial of number 5 is 120. I hope it's clear. And the next question is write a C code to find the Fibonacci series. So inside the main function we have declared the variables n1, n2, n3, I and num. So initially the n1 value is 0, n2 value is equal to 1. So first it will print enter the number of terms. So the number of terms that you need to find Fibonacci. So once you enter, it will take the num and it will print the initial value of n1 and n2. That is, it will print n1 is equal to 0 and n2 is equal to 1. Then coming to this for loop, I is equal to 2. So initially I is equal to 2, and then I lesser to num. So it will check whether 2 is less than num. So if it is true, then it will come and execute these statements. So n3 is equal to n1 plus n2. So suppose now we have the value of n1 and n2. So n3 is equal to n1 is 0 plus n2 is 1. So now the value of n3 is what? 1. Okay. So that will print as a n3. Then here it will, again we are going to change. So now we are assigning n2 value to n1. So what is n2 value? That is 1 is given to n1 is equal to 1. Then assigning n3 value to n2. What is n3 value now? That is 1. That is given to n2. Now n2 is also holding 1. So now once it print this value, again it will go to the for loop and increment I by 1. So once it increment, that means once it increment by 1, that means now the I value will be 3. So again it will check whether 3 is less than num. So again this will continue the process till the I value is less than num. So let's execute it. So let's run the program. So enter the number of terms. So let's enter 5. And the Fibonacci series of 5 is 0, 1, 1, 2 and 3. And the next question is, write a program to check whether a given number is prime number. So in this program, inside the main function, we have the variables num, I and flag is equal to 0. So initially flag value is equal to 0. So as you all know that flag acts as a boolean variable. So if the condition is satisfied, it will indicate true or false. So then it will print enter the number to check prime, and it will take the number for condition I is equal to 2 till I lesser or equal to num divided by 2. Then checks the condition if num module I is equal to 0. This is the condition that it has to meet to check whether the number is prime or not. So if this condition satisfied, then it will print number is not prime and flag is equal to 1. Break. If flag is equal to 0, then print number is prime. So let's execute it. So enter the number to check prime. So if I enter 3, it will say number is prime. So now let's give another number which is not prime. Let's give 4 and we'll say number is not prime. So I hope this program is clear. The next question is how to implement a program to find the height of a binary tree. So as you can see on the screen, we have the structure of node, then we have a variable data and node's left child structure and right child structure. So we have a function called height to find the actual height of a binary tree. So if node is equal to null, that means if there are no nodes in a tree, then it will return 0. Else it will assign height of node's left child to L height, then assigning height of node's right child to R height. So then it checks the condition if L height is greater than R height, then return L height plus 1, else return R height plus 1. So to create new node, we are creating a new node called node and allocating memory to it using malloc function and assigning a data to node's data point, and initially the node's left child and right child are assigned to null. Then return the node. Coming to the int main, that is coming to the main function, we have structure of node, that is root, assigning value 10 to the root node, and root's left child is assigned to 15, root's right child is assigned to 20, and value 25 is assigned to root's left child's left child, and 30 is assigned to root's left child's right child. Then print height of a binary tree. Then it will take the control will go back to this function height and then prints the value. So let's run it. So here height of a binary tree is 3. Moving on to the next question. Write a C code to find the n terms odd natural number and find their sum. So basically we are finding the odd numbers first. Then we are adding up all the odd numbers and printing the sum value. So we have the variables declared I, n and sum. Initially the sum value is equal to 0. So first enter the number of terms, print, it will take the number of terms. So suppose we want 5 natural numbers, 5 odd numbers, then we are giving 5 there. Then the odd numbers are, using this for loop, it will print all the odd numbers. So I is equal to n, I lesser or equal to n, it will print using this formula, it will print all the odd numbers, that is 2 into I minus 1. And then whatever it finds, it will add up all the odd numbers. So using this statement, sum is equal to sum plus 2 into I minus 1, we will get this value of all the odd numbers. So then it will print the sum of odd natural numbers up to n terms. So let's execute it. So enter the number of terms. Suppose we need 5 odd numbers. So odd numbers are 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9. So then it will add up all these odd numbers. So the sum of odd natural numbers up to 5 terms are 25. Next, implement a C program to display a string in reverse order. So basically we have a string where we are going to reverse the string. So here we have declared char string 1 of size 100 and we have a temp variable, and then length L, R and I. So L is for left hand side element, R is for right hand side element. So first print enter a string to reverse. So whatever string we need to reverse, that we are going to enter. So it will take a string, then string length of str1 is assigned to len. So initially L is equal to 0 till R is equal to length minus 1. So here whatever string we have, suppose we have simply, so this will be 0, here this index will be 0 and this will be length minus 1. So that's what here basically tells. Then for I is equal to L to I less than R, it will perform this statements. So whatever is there in string of 1 of I is given to temp. Then whatever is there in string of 1 of R is given to string of 1 of I. Then whatever is there in temp is assigned to string of 1 of R. Then decrement R minus minus. Then again it will go to I and increment I by 1. So from I is equal to L to R, it will perform all these operations and then reverse a string. So one by one it will put and reverse a string. So let's execute. Enter a string to reverse. Let's enter simply. And the reverse string is ILPMIS. I hope it's clear. The next question is implement a program to remove duplicates in a sorted array. So here we have a sorted array, that is 10, 12, 30, 40 and 50. And as you can see, we also have a duplicate elements, that is we have 10 2 times, then we have 12, 40 repeated and also 55 duplicate number. So here this is a sorted array. So basically we are going to delete the duplicate elements. So for that we have a remove duplicate array function. So if n is equal to 0 or n is equal to 1, then return n. So if the elements are 0 or the element is 1, just return those elements. Then declaring the temp variable, and this function is used for traversal. So the control will travel all the array elements. So it will check. So initially j is equal to 0. So for I is equal to 0 to I less than n minus 1, it checks whether a of I is not equal to the next element, a of I plus 1, then it will assign a of I to temp j plus plus, then again assign a of n minus 1 to temp j plus plus. Then modifying if there is any repeated, a of I is equal to 0 to I less than j, temp of I is assigned to a of I, and then return j. Coming to the main function, here we have the array elements, as I said 10, 12, 30, 40 and 55, and also along with the duplicates. So n is assigned to size of a. So it will give the size of array divided by size of a of 0. The function array remove duplicate array is assigned to the variable n, and for I is equal to 0 to I less than n, it will print all the sorted array elements. So let's run it. As you can see, the elements were 10, 10. So here it's given one duplicate element is deleted. And here again 12, 30, 40 and 55 is given successfully. So the elements are deleted. And the last question is, implement a program to add a node at the beginning, end and specified position in any linked list. So here we have the node structure where we have data and also the variable next. So we have a function for insertion at beginning, insertion at end and insertion after a node. So first, starting with insertion at beginning, we are creating a new node and allocating memory to it using malloc function, and we are assigning a new data to a new node's data part, and new node's next is assigned to head. That means head is assigned to this because head is holding the address of the new node now. So head is equal to new. Void insertion at end. So basically here also we are creating a new node and allocating memory to it, and coming here we have a head is assigned to last node because we are going to insert at end. So head is assigned to last node. So new data we are assigning to new node's data part, and initially the new next is equal to null. Not initially because it's a last node, the node the next new node's next will hold the null value. So if head is equal to null, then head is equal to new. While last node's next is not equal to null, then last is equal to last node's next, and last node next is equal to new. That means new we are assigning it to last node's next. Then coming to the insertion after node. So here we have previous node and new data. So if the previous node is equal to null, that means there are no nodes in a list. The given previous node cannot be null. Then creating a new node, allocating memory to it and assigning a new data, and to the next new nodes next we are assigning previous nodes next to the new node next, and new we are assigning to previous nodes next. Coming to the display function, checking while node is not equal to null, then print all the node data part, then assign nodes next to node. So coming to the main function, here we have head initially equal to null, and insert at end we are inserting 25 at the end, then at the beginning we are inserting 15, again at the beginning we are inserting 10, that means 10, 15 and 25, then at the end again 30, then insertion after node heads next 20, then you will print the linked list elements. So let's run it. So it has print in our order. So as you can see, the linked list are 10, 15, 20, 25 and 30.
So with this, we have come to the end of this session on the top 40 C programming question and answers. I hope the session was informative and interesting. If you have any queries regarding any of the topics covered in this session, then please feel free to let us know in the comment section below, and our team of experts will be happier to resolve all your queries at the earliest. Until then, thank you, stay safe and keep learning.